So many discovery writers feel shame and self-doubt about their process. Maybe you're even one of them. But that ends today. We're not building a rigid blueprint. We're launching something unpredictable and full of possibility. In this video, I'm flipping the script and breaking down the surprising strengths that make discovery writing not just valid, but uniquely powerful. If you're new to the term, discovery writing, sometimes called pantsing, is storytelling without a detailed map. You catch a wind of inspiration and you follow it. Scene by scene, you uncover what the story wants to be, like a route unfolding only after you take the first step. There's no outline to direct each move, just forward motion, curiosity, and trust. We're not building a rigid structure here. We're building a flight path in midair. Let's take a look at what makes this approach surprisingly strong. First up, creativity. When you aren't tethered to an outline, you're free to wander. You might launch into a scene thinking one character is in control, only to be interrupted by someone unexpectedly showing up, saying something sharper, truer, stranger than you planned. It's surprising, it's fluid, it's also a little chaotic, and that's kind of the point. Stephen King once said, "I believe stories are found things, like fossils in the ground." That's discovery writing. You find meaning as you move, not before you start. And when your own story can surprise you, you want to keep going. You want to see where it lands. Are you drawn to the freedom of discovery writing? The kind that lets your story surprise even you? Drop a yes, I love freedom in the comments and let me know that you're on board. Then let's glide into something deeper, which is authenticity. One of the most beautiful things about discovery writing is this. You react on the page in real time. You're not scripting your character's emotions ahead of them. You're catching them as they form. You might enter a scene with a character ready to confess, but as the words come, you realize, they're just not ready. You feel it right there in the quiet, in that moment. So your character stays quiet, or maybe they lie. And just like that, the moment feels human. You didn't force it, you allowed it to unfold. That's what authenticity looks like, not just for the character, but also for you. Next up is flexibility. As a discovery writer, you're free to change course midair. You can swerve into a subplot that suddenly matters, follow a theme that emerges without asking, or abandon a thread that no longer fits, without that guilt of deviating from a plan. Maybe your story starts as a thriller, but somewhere along the way, it softly transforms into a quiet story about grief. That shift doesn't mean that you failed the plan. It means you listened and turned the story into what it wanted to be. You're not off course. You're just flying a different direction. One thing we overlook far too often as writers is joy. When you write without knowing every beat in advance, you write with your whole self. You show up wondering what's going to happen next. That wondering is what keeps you coming back. Writing becomes something you feel, an immersion. It's not always easy, but it becomes less about control and more about presence. And when the process feels less like a checklist and more like discovery, it becomes sustainable, even a little bit magical. And let's not forget one of the most practical strengths of all, and that's momentum. You don't have to wait until every scene and subplot is mapped. If you've got an idea today, you can start writing today. You don't freeze waiting for the perfect plan. You build momentum by moving and taking action. Write one scene, then the next, then another, still not knowing how it ends. Yet somehow it starts to take shape because you had the courage to start. You had the courage to begin. That's not chaos. That's trust and a beautiful thing called bravery. So now that you know the surprising strengths of discovery writing, freedom, authenticity, flexibility, joy, and momentum, what if you could use those strengths to actually finish your book? In the next video, I'm sharing real practical tips for discovery writers, ways to stay in flow while still making consistent progress without losing your creative spark along the way. Because you don't have to write like everyone else. You just have to start.